Got a drone for Christmas? Curious on what to do next? Questions that I asked myself when I got a drone. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's quite easy to get started. This is Bob. Bob and I are here to tell you a few tips and tricks on how to get started on your drone journey. One of the first things that you need to get is an operator ID. Now, this is a legal requirement in the UK, so you have to get an operator ID by going on the CAA website. There you will have to pay a fee of £11 something, and after that you basically get a drone ID, which means that for a year you will be able to fly anywhere in the UK with no problems. And you have to get this, otherwise you will not be able to fly and you can get into a lot of trouble. The other thing that I would recommend is getting a flyer ID. Now, you don't need this as long as you're flying a drone that's only 250 grams or less. If your drone is more than 250 grams, you will have to get a flyer ID. Otherwise, you don't really need it. But I would definitely say that it helps you fly your drone and understand all the different rules and regulations that are currently in place. It really will help you on your drone journey to be able to understand everything as it's meant to be. The flyer ID, by going on the CAA website and doing a set of tests which will basically give you a deeper understanding of everything there is to do with drones. I'm not going to go into details, there are other people that do these sort of videos, but I would highly recommend you do it. It will benefit you in the long run. One of the good things to learn is to be able to fly your drone at waist or shoulder level. This is particularly good to do for your first half an hour or so, just so you can understand how your drone behaves. So you can visually see that if I press this analog stick up, the drone goes up. If I press it down, the drone goes down. If I press this one, it will go forwards. And this gives you a good understanding of how your drone behaves. It means that you are less likely to make errors in future. And I don't see many of the YouTubers show this for some reason. They just say, oh yeah, just go and fly your drone. Yeah, it's all good and well saying that, but when you don't know how it behaves, it makes it really difficult to be able to know what's going on up there, rather than, it is a lot better to learn at this sort of level, I find, because you can just see what's going on and you can sort of follow it round and go, oh yeah, I understand how that works. I understand that if I do that, it will go to the left. If I put this analog stick to the right, it will go to the right. It makes it a lot easier to see what's going on with your drone when you're pressing a specific joystick. Oh, Bob is getting a little bit shy. Now, we had an incident. Bob, don't be shy. I tell you what, I'll give you your hat back, and I think he'll be a lot happier once he has his hat back. Oh yeah, he's feeling a bit more confident now. Right, so we had an incident with Bob where he basically flew into the tree. It's nothing to do with me, I promise. This was all Bob. Actually, he was using one of the automated modes, and he was doing a circle round a windmill, and he ended up going into the tree and he got stuck up there. So after that, we ended up getting Bob out of the tree, and we got Bob out of the tree, and what we found is that 3 of his propellers were damaged. Now, 2 of them were damaged ever so slightly, but one of them was damaged quite badly. Now, my tip is to basically make sure you replace the propellers, because it's just not worth it. Even if there's a little bit of damage and you go, oh no, that might do, you'll still be able to fly. It's just not worth the risk. These drones are so expensive that, to replace a propeller that costs £2, right, it's not worth losing a £500 drone. What you want to do is you just replace those propellers and just carry on flying, and you haven't got a worry in the world then. Right, another thing that I would say not to do for your first hour or so, I would say don't use the sports mode. Now, the sports mode turns off all the sensors. I mean, Bob has only 2 sensors on the bottom, right? But you might have other drones like the DJI Mini 4 Pro, which will have a lot more sensors, right? When you go into the sport mode, it basically goes crazy, right? They don't care about any obstacle avoidance. They just go and end up crashing. So don't use the sport mode straight away. That would be my probably number one advice, to be honest with you. Don't use the sport mode straight away. Now, one of the other things to talk about is batteries, right? So if we take this battery out, right, you want to be able to use your fast charger. Obviously, if you're going from location to location, you can use your fast charger. However, once again, this is something that other people don't really mention. You can use the fast charger, just don't use it all the time, right? The problem is you don't want to overheat your batteries when they're already hot. You know, when the drone's been in flight, you come in and then you put it on fast charge straight away. It can damage the batteries. It's just, I wouldn't advise it. I would definitely, you know, the first point is you just leave the battery, leave it to cool down for I don't know, for maybe an hour or so, right? And then you can stick it on fast charge. But even then, I would only use fast charge every other charge that you do. This will preserve the battery life of your drone, won't it, Bob? Now, I've seen that some people unfold the legs of the drone really, really violently. Now, what you want to do is you want to be gentle with these, because what can happen is they can basically crack in some of these places, and then you have to, you know, replace the entire leg, and then you can't fly your drone, and just all that. So all you want to do is when you're unfolding it, you just do it gently and you just support it. All right, you don't have to be violent with it. You just unfold it gently, and then you do it to the third leg and then the fourth leg. Just give it a bit of support, and that's it. That's all it takes. Some people just fling it out, and then it, you know, they crack, they break, and then it's just not worth the hassle. One of the other things I wanted to mention was your batteries again, but if you're flying out in the cold. Right, so what you want to do is you want to be able to keep them in your pocket, or if you have an inside pocket, keep them in, you know, in your inside pocket so they're kept warm. So that way you get a longer battery life when you're flying out in the cold weather. Now, we don't have too much cold weather in the UK, but this will apply to other countries, you know, where it's a lot colder. So yeah, just keep it in your jacket pocket, you know, keep them warm, and then once you got to your location, you know, you fling out your battery, stick it in Bob, and don't do what I did and stick it the wrong way. You need to stick it that way, and then you launch your drone. Bob, what are you doing? You've got stuck in the tree again. What are you playing at? Right, I can't. Right. What I have to tell you is this is going to be the last point, but probably it's one of the most important. Don't do what I did, and don't fly Bob into the tree, because he'll get stuck, and then you're going to cry when it's, you know, all the way up top in one of the other bigger trees, and you can't get it out, and then you're very much upset and going, Mom, but my drone, I got stuck in the tree. So this is the final say from Bob and I. I just wanted to say thank you for watching our video, and we hope you found the tips useful. They're not quite the same as some of the other tips that you might find out there, but I think they'll be useful nonetheless. Thank you.